What's up guys, welcome to another video. In this video we're just going to do a quick tutorial on how to make an RCA to 3.5mm audio adapter. So you're going to need a couple things for this. You're going to need RCA cables, and you either need one or two. And to determine how many RCA cables you're going to need, take a look at the cable, like the headphone cable, the 3.5mm headphone cable that you are going to use. So you also do need one of those from like an old pair of headphones or something. So if you look at the end of this cable, this has two black little rings there. That means you're only going to need one cable. But if I were to use this, this has three rings, so you need to use two cables. So I will demonstrate both. I'm gonna first do the tutorial with the two rings here. And so this is from an old pair of headphones. So for this, you're going to need your headphones here. You're going to need your RCA cable right here. You're going to need some electrical tape, which is right here. And you're going to need some wire snips. You can also use a soldering iron, which I have right here. But I know that some people don't have those at home, so I'll just demonstrate with electrical tape right now. And then when I do the next cable, I will use a soldering iron. Okay, so step one. When you have the two ringed cables, they're either connected to a single speaker or a single earbud, or two headphones like this. If it is connected to two headphones, you're going to see where the two wires connect, which is down here. And right here, you're just going to snip one of these wires off. Okay, so then now you only have one of the headphones connected to your 3.5mm cable. So this one is cut off. So then you're going to cut this one off right next to the actual headphone. And so now we don't need these headphones anymore. So now we just have the cable. We have the end and then one single cable coming off, because remember you did snip that second one right there. And keep in mind, this is only if you have two rings. If you have three rings, I will show you how to do it because it's different. So take some strippers, or I mean you can use a knife too, it's just easier with strippers. And just strip away the rubber. And then what it reveals is this. So we have some copper wire kind of hanging here, and then a red rubber wire. Now there could be another circumstance where you have two like wires that are not rubber coated, they're both metal, but one of them is colored, like dyed. In that case, you're going to take a lighter and just burn the paint off of both of the wires, or else they won't be able to bridge the connection. So now that you have this, you want to twist this copper wire into a single wire, so it's easier to, wire together. And then you strip this red wire as well, but not all the way at the bottom, maybe just a little bit like right there, just so that you don't short it out. And then you have this red wire and this black wire. So what you're going to do next is find your RCA cables, and I have them right here. So if you have one of these connector things, just cut it off right above them, like if they're connected with that little thing. But just make sure you have, two separate cables. For now, we're only going to be using one for the two-ringed one. And if, honestly, the colors doesn't matter, but it helps me because, generally when you plug it into, your stereo or whatever you're doing, white is left and the red is right. So basically, the when it has 2 rings, it's mono audio, meaning it's just the left channel. So if you have a white one on hand, use it. If not, just try to remember to plug it into the left channel onto your stereo. So you're going to strip the end of this RCA cable here. And get the edge exposed. Okay. And so when I cut this open, it's the exact same thing as the headphones. You have like this access copper wire kind of around, and then this coated wire. So I just twist the copper wire together again, and then strip this copper, or this rubber wire. Twist that up as well. So now you have these 2 stripped wires. One is your 3.5 millimeter cable, and one is your RCA cable. So again, for this wire, I'm going to be using electrical tape. For the 3-ringed 3.5 millimeter wire, I'm going to be using a soldering iron. But you take the 2 rubber coated wires and twist them together. Now, you want to take a bit of electrical tape, and it doesn't necessarily have to be electrical tape. It can really be any tape, but electrical tape is the best, of course, because it is electrical tape. And so, yeah, you cut a little portion off like this, and you wrap it around the exposed copper part of this wire, and make sure that the 2 copper uncoated wires are outside. So, then you take the 2 copper wires and you twist them together. And you do the same thing where you cut a little portion of electrical tape off and just stick it around there. So your 2 connections are now bridged. I'm just going to demonstrate real quick that this indeed does. And so I'm going to take my adapter. Remember to only use the left channel, and then plug it into the left channel, or the white channel. So then you can plug your 3.5 millimeter end into anything. I'm going to just use my iPod. Then turn it on. And so this is playing a song. And it's coming out of my speakers. Okay, so like I said before, for the 3-ringed cable, I will be using a soldering iron. You can definitely use your electrical tape or whatever kind of tape if that's more convenient to you, but you'll just see me be using that. So, alright, now it's a very similar method when you're using a 3-ringed cable here, but it's a little bit different. So, strip the end off of the cable. So, alright, now we have a bunch of wires, and you'll see there's this stuff in here that's not exactly wire. It's just kind of like this white fluff. And we can just go ahead and cut that off. It's not necessary. It just kind of gets in the way. And so now we have a couple different cables here. We have a red cable, a green cable, 2 copper-colored cables, and a white cable that is dipped in rubber. So that rubber is surrounded by some more copper cable. We can just put that off to the side. So let's just strip the end of this, and we get some wire. So first things first, make sure to strip both of your RCA cables. I have one stripped already, and I'll strip the other one right now. So we have this one done. Let's just put all the copper wire together. Twist it right up and strip the rubber coated wire inside and twist that together as well. So this is going to be the red cable here. And if you look inside, you'll see that this white goo, like the white fluff that we cut off, is kind of in between the red and copper and the green and copper. So take the side that is the red and copper, and before you do anything else, you're going to want to burn the dye off of the wires. That's what I was talking about earlier, so that you can actually make the connection. So I'll show you that. Just dip the wire in, and it will burn up. Just do them all one by one. That's what I recommend. Okay, so now we have the wires soldered, and we can still kind of see how they were grouped, these two and these two. So just pick one of the groups, it doesn't really matter. And you want to take, again, it doesn't really matter which wire, but just take one of the wires in that kind of group. So remember, it's split in half with that white thing. So you have the green and copper, red and copper. So to pick a side and take one of the wires, just like twist each wire up with one on the RCA cable. It doesn't really matter which one. Just make sure it's all twisted up. And just pull them apart. And then I'm going to take my soldering iron, get some solder on it. Okay, so now that the two wires are soldered together, we can take a length of electrical tape. And what you want to do is first tape them at the bottom, kind of where all the wires join. And then another small cut of tape. And tape them at the top of where the wires join. So that is one connection, and we'll do the other one. Again, a small bit of tape. Put it right there at the bottom. And a little bit more tape. And just put it right there. So you got that. Now we have two remaining cables, or two remaining wires. They kind of stick out there. And we have our last RCA cable. So what you want to do is the exact same thing that you did for the other side. Just twist two of these cables together and these cables together. And just to, again, to remind you, it does not matter which two you twist together. Make sure it's nice and twisted. And then I'm going to use my soldering iron again. And you're done with your soldering iron now if you are using that. But if you're using electrical tape, great. So now you're going to grab your electrical tape if you don't have it already. And again, just do the same thing you did for the other side, which is tape at the bottom where everything joins. Do the same on this one. So now everything is joined together. You have your RCA cables and your 3.5mm end. So now I'm going to show you that it works. And plug in these cables, red and red, white and white. And then take your device, plug the cables in, and then show you it works. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it was helpful. If you have any questions, comment below, and I'll do my best to solve.